Hi again, folks. How you all doing? I got an email a week or so ago from Jason, the guy who sent me the Class 66 and EWS wagons a while back, as well as a load of scenic stuff, including what is now the gnome's legs. He said he had something that he would like to send me, partly as a birthday present and partly as a thank you for the channel. He must have been cleaning out his EWS cupboard, I think, because that something is this Hornby Class 67 in EWS livery. A very lovely looking diesel. Thank you very, very much to Jason for this very generous donation. On top of everything else he said before, this is worth a bob or two, so I'm very lucky to be on the receiving end of his generosity yet again. Jason says this is DCC fitted and will need a blanking plate to run on DC and probably needs a service. Let's just turn on the power. Absolutely nothing happening. So we'll shove her into the shed and see if we can get her to run. But just before I do that, I just want to say a quick thank you to John for sending me these two cars and these two figures. The figures were actually painted by his son. He's got a YouTube channel, Twin Sons Miniatures. I repaired an M7 for John that he picked up from Overhaul, Scotland. And as part payment, he sent me these. So thanks very much to John and his son. Right, okay, let's get the 67 into the shed. Right, okay, let's get a look at this Hornby Class 67. A very nice model of a very nice locomotive. Appears to be in excellent condition. I'm not seeing any fluffage or anything. Don't see anything broken. Jason said this probably needed a service, but I don't think it will. But we shall see. Looks like it's fitted with DCC sound. There's a speaker in there. Yeah, it's very nice. It's very heavy. I've got my Bachmann 66 here. Yeah, I would say this is heavier, but we'll weigh them. So the 67 is 640 grams, and the Bachmann 66 554. So yeah, it's a hefty model. So I'm going to open this up and fit it with a blanking plate, so it'll run on DC. But before I do that, I've got my DCC controller here, so I think we'll test it under DCC first, just to make sure it actually works. So I've assigned it to number 3. Let's just turn on the power, and there it goes. Don't see the lights working. Let's just try pressing the function button. Oh, there we go. Just using the endoscope here so you can see the lights. You can see they're on there for going forwards. If I change the direction, they go to red. So it works under DCC. So now I need to get into this and convert it for DC running. So this didn't have any instructions or box or anything, so I'm kind of blind here, and I have no idea what the model number is. I did look online for Class 67 instructions from Hornby, but I've got a funny feeling it's not the same model. There are 4 screws. Let's get my sponge. There's 4 very tempting screws. There, and just turn it round. There and there. So I suspect undoing those will release the body, but it might be a clip-on affair. It doesn't feel like it though, there's no give in that at all. Right, I think what I'll do is loosen these screws. I won't undo them completely, because they might be holding the motor in place or something. Right, so I've backed these off. Is that loosening the body? Yes, it is. Okay. So we'll undo these screws completely. There's a button there for daytime and nighttime settings for the lights, same as the Bachmann 66. There we go. These screws will probably fall out now. There's two of them anyway. So there's the socket, and the chip is taped to the roof of the body there. There's another one of those screws come out. Okay. Yeah, it looks like the red and black wires there go down to the speaker. So I can't remove the chip altogether, because that's going to be connected to the speaker. So I think all we'll have to do is just unplug it and then leave it in there, and we'll stick the blanking plate in there. So very carefully we'll unplug the chip. It comes, and we'll secure that down in there. There's a little triangle on pin number 1 on the socket, and there's a little triangle on pin number 1 on the blanking plate. So that allows us to orientate the blanking plate correctly, push it in, and that's it. That will now run on DC. I don't really like this floating about. That could come into contact with something it shouldn't. I think we'll try and tuck it down there and secure it with a bit of tape. Right, I should keep that out the road. Right, while I've got the body off, I would quite like to look at the gears. That could be easier said than done. We'll try undoing these two screws here. But if this is going to be too much of a fiddle, I think we'll leave it. Don't go messing around with things unless you really need to. So unless this has got some kind of running issue, I'd be inclined to leave it alone. Alright, that lets me get into the end of the drive shaft. So there's the drive shaft and the universal joint, and the gear will be in here. This should unclip. Get something finer. There we go, it's coming out now. There we go. So yeah, it's all pretty well lubricated. Actually release the bogie as well, that would then come out. So right, okay. So that part actually holds the bogie in, as well as covering the worm gear. Try and get this back in now. Okay, we'll pop this back on. Just clips in there. Goes in with these screws. Right, okay, I think we'll pop this back on. Like so. And then put these screws back in. Very fine thread on these screws. They just keep turning and turning and turning. There we go. Don't tighten them too tight. Okay, so there we go, all done, ready for DC running. I'm not going to put this on the test track under DC because I don't think it'll like my old Hornby controller. I'm going to replace the old Hornby controller on my test track with a Gauge Master one shortly, so yeah, that'll be better. Let's pull this out the shed on the layout and see how it runs. Right, okay, so it ran okay, very nicely actually, but around the curves it was making a horrible scraping sound, and on 1 or 2 points it actually stopped. So I thought, yeah, it seems to have a bit of a pickup issue, and something is hitting something, I think. So I've opened it up, and there is a broken wire here. So this wire here, you can see it's loose, it should be soldered to there. So there's no pickup from this bogie. So we'll see if we can fix that. We're going to have to remove this, get this bogie out, solder that on, and then we'll see if we can figure out where the scraping sound was coming from. So I've unclipped this part again. I'm actually getting tweezers in. These pointed tweezers is a good way to unclip it. Right, that'll lift out like so. You can see the gears in there. Need to strip a bit of that wire. So I can't really remove the bogie because the wire's not long enough to allow me to feed it through the chassis. I'll need to solder it kind of in situ there, but I'll need to strip a wee bit off. Okay, I haven't got this piece out of the way, and the drive shaft. I think I can get a soldering iron in there with minimal risk of melting anything. I need to watch these two brown wires so I don't melt them. There we go. And now we should have pickup from both bogies. Yep. Okay. I'm wondering if the scraping was actually the loose wire. If it was hitting the drive shaft or something. I guess we just have to stick it back in the layout and try it. Okay then, let's bring it out. Okay, it's still making a bit of a scraping sound going round the curves. It's not too bad in this direction. Just very slightly. But in this direction, hear that? And the weird thing is, under load, it doesn't do it. That's very strange. Okay, so there we are, a Hornby Class 67 added to my fleet courtesy of Jason's generosity. Yeah, the odd scraping sound is a bit of a puzzle. I can't see what's causing it, and the fact that it doesn't occur when pulling a load is a bit weird. I'll keep investigating to try and see what it is, and I'll let you know if I find out, but I'm open to any suggestions. I thought maybe the gears were slipping, but no, I don't think so. I think the problem would be worse then when under a load, not better. Yeah, I just can't see what's causing it at all. Otherwise, this is a really nice model. Off camera, I opened it up again and I cut the wires to the speakers to remove the chip completely. And I also opened up the gearboxes again to put some more lubrication in, just in case that was the cause of the noise. But no, it doesn't seem to be. But yeah, I'm well chuffed with this. It was a nice surprise when it came. So yeah, a very big thanks again to Jason for this. What I want now is some more EWS wagons, particularly tank wagons. So that's something to look out for at exhibitions. My next video will be my birthday presents video. But in the meantime, thanks again to Jason, and we'll catch you later, folks.